Hey folks, Trent here. Betsy will not be joining me for this little introduction. She's off at rehearsal tonight. It is Monday, December 15th, 2025. If you're like us, you kind of grew up with Rob Reiner. Not only as, hey, if you watched reruns of All in the Family, you maybe watched The Princess Bride or Stand By Me, or even This Is Spinal Tap. His contribution to the world of cinema cannot be overstated. And despite the fact that Betsy and I haven't really delved that deep into the man's catalog, we wanted to share the one and only episode that we ever did for a movie that Rob Reiner directed. We recorded the following episode of our Patreon show, Real Love, back in August of this year. For the uninitiated to the show, Real Love is a show where Betsy subjects me to a whole bunch of rom-coms and romance movies to get my reaction to the movie and give my opinion as to whether or not the couple depicted in the movie is actually in love. Is it real love? And for our August episode this year, we covered When Harry Met Sally, a movie that I had actually seen before, but we covered it nonetheless because it is such a stone cold classic. Not only in the romance genre, but just as a film. So as whatever kind of small tribute that we can give to Rob Reiner and his legacy, here in its entirety is our When Harry Met Sally episode from Real Love.
Hello, patrons, and welcome to a brand new Real Love. It is August 2025. I am your host, Betsy, and with me is Trent.
Hello, Betsy.
Trent, in August of 2025, I decided you've been a very good boy this year. And so you are being rewarded by arguably the best rom-com of all time. Certainly one of the greats if you're not on the best train. This
is an all-timer.
Yes, this is an all-timer. And of course, that movie is When Harry Met Sally. Now, unlike a lot of the rom-coms that we have covered on this show, you had seen this one before.
Yes, I could not tell you how long ago it's been, but likely I'm going to guess it's been anywhere between 15 and 20 years.
So not in the time we've been together at all?
No,
oh, that's
not at all.
Interesting. Well, I know for a fact that I have seen this since we've been together because this is the movie I watched after our first date.
Oh.
We went out.
I don't know if I knew this.
We went out on our date and we saw Crazy Stupid Love.
Yes, we did.
And then after you dropped me off in my apartment, it was not like, you know, when you're in your 20s, you don't want to just go to bed after something like that. You have to unwind.
I called my friends. I don't know what you're thinking about.
Well, I didn't have friends.
Shit.
So yeah, I was in my apartment by myself and I decided to watch When Harry Met Sally. That is what I did after our first date. So there's a fun little nugget for you and where this movie lands for me.
All right.
But overall feelings today, I feel like you enjoyed it. You were laughing over there pretty hard.
I do enjoy this movie. I do enjoy that this is a different kind of one of these kinds of movies. Now, back in the 80s, you didn't have the formula that we're used to today. Like the things that we really talk about here, you can kind of pick out, even in this movie, you can pick out the stuff that you have on your rubric where we talk about the grand gesture, where we talk about the obligatory breakup, where you talk about all these different things that have to be in a rom-com. But you know, that's just good storytelling because from an audience member's perspective, you have to have all these things happen in order to have the two people come together.
And arguably, this movie, it doesn't abuse the privilege, as it were. Like a lot of movies that came out in the years after When Harry Met Sally are chasing the high of When Harry Met Sally, and none of them ever really succeed in the same way.
It's Pretty Woman, it's all of these that kind of laid the groundwork for something to work off of anyway.
And the strength of this one, I think, is the creative team because Nora Ephron and Rob Reiner were friends in real life. And this was just something they talked about, like how they were friends who were not attracted to each other and didn't want to date each other. But how could we take that idea and do something with it?
Yeah, what if some kind of spark happened? And you get into these conversations about whether men and women can be friends, at least a straight man and a straight woman. Can they be friends, even though maybe one of them is attracted to the other, or both of them are attracted to each other, but they don't talk about it? Is that even possible?
Well, let's dive into it then, because there's a lot of ground to cover when you're talking about When Harry Met Sally. So if you are listening to this and you haven't seen this movie, I don't know why you are missing out on one of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah,
but
do yourself a favor. And go and watch it.
And if for some reason you've only seen it once, like Trent had before today, or at least not recently,
I didn't remember a goddamn thing that happened in this movie.
A very quick synopsis, and it's pretty straightforward. Harry and Sally meet when they're in college, and they don't like each other. When they reconnect years later, they become friends. But this movie begs the question, can men and women just be friends? And I always start with the meet cute, and this is another movie where it kind of doesn't have what it doesn't, because their meet cute is they both go to the University of Chicago in 1977. After graduation, they're both moving to New York City.
One of them is 41 and the other one is 28.
Totally playing college kids, which makes sense.
Oh, God, I hated that.
And they have mutual friends. He's dating a friend of hers.
Yeah.
So when they're both moving, she just gives him a ride to New York. And it's all about their journey, their literal journey across the country, and how at that point in their lives, they don't hit it off. Like, she is extremely uptight. She's very high maintenance. And he is just a guy. He is such a dude in this movie where he's spitting and coarse and he just says what he thinks. And this is definitely a case of opposites attracting in this film. But it doesn't happen immediately because in the beginning, they don't like each other. They meet a second time 5 years later. They still kind of don't like each other.
Yeah, and they're also both in different parts of their lives. Like we've talked about in other movies that we've covered in the past. We've talked about it on Conversation Pit episodes, I'm sure, where you meet somebody or you're friends with somebody or you work with somebody. You're just you happen to be around them and you're in different parts of your life, or one person is in a relationship and the other one isn't. It's a matter of bad timing. I'm the victim of this. I'm sure you're the victim of this to a point, but the conversation that comes out of this movie is, of course, whether or not men and women can be friends. And when he's coming up with all of these rules, it's just him telling himself that, okay, I can't be friends with this woman because I'm attracted to her and I'm single and they're single. So that's the end of that. We can't be friends because, of course, you're a woman, I have a penis, and I want to put it inside of you. So that's really where he's coming from here. And as we go on, it's 5 years later, he comes up with a new rule. Okay, we can be friends, but only if we're already in a relationship with each other, because it's not that I don't want to sleep with you. It's more, I would feel guilty. I would have a problem with my significant other,
it
whatever
would complicate
it happens.
things.
Yeah, it would just be a little bit more complicated. It's not that, oh, we can't, like you don't have the mental capacity to just be friends. No, I guess he thinks that there's some kind of biological thing that prevents you from being friends.
I think it's mostly she still just doesn't like this guy. He's a lot. He's very dark. He's very coarse, as I said, and she doesn't get him. And it's not until they grow up a little bit. So from the time
Both
they meet,
of them, really.
From the time they meet to the time they become friends, 10 years passes. And if you think about how you were when you were 21 and then how you were when you were 31, you're an extremely different person.
Absolutely.
And he has mellowed out significantly because he's going through a divorce. So he is much more vulnerable and sensitive in a way that she has not seen. And it's actually Sally who initiates the, hey, let's be friends thing.
Yeah, because I think she can recognize that he is a different person. He has gone through some life stuff. She has gone through some life stuff. And they have something in common here when they are the 31 years old or however old they actually are here. She can recognize that and say, okay, there's something here. We have a connection in that we're both going through that breakup. She seems to be okay with it because it's only been, I don't know, days or weeks since they broke it off. And it's just the beginnings of him being separated from his wife. So they're kind of going through it together.
they're kindred spirits at this moment. Like they both understand what the other one's kind of going through.
Sure, and even though they haven't really spent a whole lot of time together up to this point anyway, I don't know, it kind of feels like they're looking for another outlet beyond what they already know. And you spend that much time in a car together, you're going to create some kind of connection, no matter what it happens to be. But I think the movie itself is more about you maturing as a person and allowing other ideas into your own head.
Well, I think that's another reason this is one of the greats, because it is about grown-ups. They are in their 30s when not when they meet, but when they actually get to know each other and fall in love. So many movies are like, I have this perfect life and everything is great for me. And also, sweetie, you've known him for 6 days. What is wrong
honestly,
with you?
It's kind of a cautionary tale against some of the other rom-coms that have come out since then, where the two people meet, fall in love, and get married within 0.5 seconds.
And you hate it. You specifically hate those movies.
All of those movies we've already covered for this show, I have said, no, that's not real love.
No, this one, the punchline of the movie is, it only took 2 months. Well, 12 years or whatever.
Sure, to get actually married.
Yeah.
Because you've already gone through all of that, getting to know you, getting to know your foibles and your quibbles and all of the other strange words that I can say.
Quirks and
Yeah. So you already got all that stuff. You've gone through life together. That's really the thing that you as a couple, like you and we got married after about 15 months of meeting. And I believe that was enough time to really get to know you and you really get to know me. And the vast, vast majority of the stuff that I've gone through and you've gone through, that's enough time, I think, to get to know somebody. But again, it's a matter of age and maturity and understanding where another person is coming from. If you're fucking 20 years old, this goes back to my pet peeve about Romeo and Juliet. If you're this little shit who hasn't seen the world, you have no idea who you are as a person, how can you possibly see what another person is going through? How can you possibly see that?
When you see all these like celebrities who marry people who are so much younger than them and it doesn't work out, it's like, yeah, because they're a child. They literally have never seen they've never experienced anything. They've never been anywhere. They never did anything of interest.
It's a two-way street, too.
And you are older and you're just slowing down in your life and they're speeding up. It's a recipe for disaster. So looking at something like When Harry Met Sally, when you've got two people who you've had long-term relationships, they didn't work out, your life didn't go the way you planned, you're both career-oriented. We don't spend a lot of time talking about their careers,
No,
but
I wish they did, though.
clearly they are more career people than family people.
Yes.
Because neither of them had kids with their significant other.
Yeah, and they also moved away from their family, their extended family anyway,
Yeah.
presumably.
But they have to go through all of this to get to each other. And sometimes it just happens this way, where you are friends. You're just friends. And eventually you become more than friends.
Well, at that point, you're different people. Yeah, you have the same names and you know what they used to be, but they're not that same person anymore. If I got together with somebody that I used to date, before you, obviously, but if I caught up with them again, they're obviously going to be a completely different person because, hey, you and I have been together, 14 years this month?
Mm-hmm.
That is a very long time in the course of somebody's life, and you have no idea what the other person has gone through in those 14 years. If you just happened upon one of your exes out at the fucking Costco, and you're a mature adult, you're a 40-year-old woman, you know how to handle a situation like that. Same thing about me. If I saw an ex-girlfriend of mine, or at least even somebody that I used to hang out with, like I've had plenty of female friends, and we'll get into that in a little bit here. But if I happened upon one of these people that I used to talk to online, that I actually met at some point, if I somehow came across them, I couldn't talk to them the same way I talked to them 15 years ago or however long. They're a different person. I have to understand that they are a completely different person. Same thing about when people go to like high school reunions. I will never go to a high school reunion in my life because number one, I didn't have any fucking friends in high school. And number two, even if I did, they're different people. They're completely different people. Why would I want to?
Well, that might actually be a reason to do it because sometimes people are really terrible in high school and then they actually get to be okay when they're older in life.
Yeah.
Like they figure out their shit. Like, oh, I was going through something when I was 16, but now I'm kind of cool. Like it does happen, but I get your
People
point.
don't normally get cooler as they get older.
Speak for yourself, Trent.
Typically, I said.
I'm getting so
You're
much
the
cooler.
exception to the rule.
Though I use that word facetiously because sometimes people genuinely call me cool. And I was like, I think you don't know what that word means.
Yeah,
You're using that word incorrectly.
I think the people who would say that, they see your outward facing persona and they like the fact that you're a really fun and energetic person, but at your core, you are a little troglodyte who likes to go into a corner sometimes and just curl up into a ball.
If you say nice things about me, I hiss and run away. Like,
Yeah.
don't pay attention. Don't acknowledge my existence.
Yeah.
Don't prove that you can see me. I
Betsy
don't
and
want to be seen.
Betsy and I have a really hard time with accepting compliments from people.
I think that's also just living where we live. Like that's a very Midwest culture kind of thing.
I think so.
You know,
yeah.
like, oh, I like your outfit. Thanks, I got it for a discount.
Yeah, that's very
Like,
much
that's
a
such a
millennial
weird-
Midwestern kind of a response.
Or like it has pockets. You know,
Sure.
that crap.
I guess to give a real life example, there are times when people have come up to Betsy because she is a semi local celebrity around here.
Small time. Very small time.
Yes. But you perform on stage with a group that does big cabaret shows and some plays and musicals and whatnot. People recognize you because you are quite recognizable. And literally people have come up to Betsy in a restaurant, when we're in a store, saying, I loved you in this particular production. And what do you say to something like that? Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you.
That's it. That's all you say.
Yeah.
But if they went farther than that and like told me like, oh, that one specific song like brought me to tears, if they like really dove into
It's like,
why.
oh no, I'm going to stop you here. You changed my life.
Yeah.
Now, nobody will actually say that, but.
I mean, maybe they will. Maybe I changed someone's life and I don't know it, but I don't want to know about it because I will collapse. I am very made of marshmallow fluff.
Anyway, off topic.
Off topic. Let's bring it back to the movie, Trent. So you said we're going to get to it. Why don't we just get to it?
Okay.
The big question of the movie is, can men and women really just be friends? And in this movie, of course, the theory is for a while they seem to be, but then in reality, these two cannot. These two have to be more than just friends. I don't think it's making a statement that you have to go down this road, that if you have a male friend, if you're a woman, you have to end up together. I think there are exceptional examples of, no, I have absolutely no interest in ever being with that person. You can like someone. I have several male friends, several. If they're attracted to me, I would be too oblivious to know it anyway.
Sure.
If I'm being completely honest, the number of men, if they have found me attractive and never said anything, didn't know. I didn't know. I'm really stupid. But I am of the belief that you can be friends. I think you can. And this is a really old battle of the sexes kind of idea.
It is, and just from my own perspective here, again, we've talked about this before, the vast majority of the friends that I have had, especially after turning, as an adult, let's say, and even in high school, most of the friends that I hung out with and talked on the phone with and just did stuff with were all ladies. Now, is that because I have some kind of latent thing inside of me? No, it's because most guys, especially around that age, fucking suck. Okay? I am not that kind of person that is going to be the machismo asshole who is going to be hitting on women and going to the bars all night. No, that's not me. And people who are not like that, women. But, I've had lady friends who have told me, after the fact, or even, God, I remember one of my friends, I think she had a few drinks in her. We were at a concert sometime with other friends around us, and she told me off the cuff, if I wasn't with this person and you were down for it, I would totally get with you, man. Just as a one-night stand kind of a thing. Like, if we were both stupid and horny one night, that would probably happen. Of course, this is literally like 20 years ago. Or at least very close to that anyway. And other people have said, again, after the fact, after they leave my life, or like after we stop hanging out, like, oh yeah, she was totally like digging you and in love with you or whatever. Like I didn't get any of that stuff, because I know in my heart of hearts, if you are with somebody, you are off limits. I don't even entertain the idea that I could be with you at this time. I do leave it open. I leave the idea of you open as a possibility if you are no longer with somebody.
I think you just hit something else that is relevant to this particular movie, and it's the age thing. When you're 20, you kind of are attracted to everybody. Like all the
Sure.
time. You're constantly falling in love with people from a distance because your hormones are still raging and you're young and free and alive, and why not?
You will never be as attractive as you are when
Exactly.
you are 20.
Yeah, so you fall in love with everybody all the time. But if you look at that same person in 10 years, they're bald and fat and stupid, and you're like, why was I in love with that person?
Right.
I'm an insane person. So when you're, 26, that's about the time that you and I met.
Yeah.
We were in our mid 20s. And so we had already matured a little bit from that 5 years prior. We were already very different people.
Yeah.
And in the movie, they're in their 30s. They are very settled. They have their situation pretty much figured out apart from their love lives. But that is kind of building the foundation for them to be able to be friends. And if they were in relationships with other people, they could still be friends.
Totally. Because there is obviously a connection there. At the very least, they like to talk to each other. They have great conversations.
We've said it many, many times, Trent. You are my best friend.
Yes.
Like, some people, I think when they're asked who their best friend is, they assume they mean their best friend.
Yeah.
But
the
no, I'm
person
sorry.
that they go off and do stupid shit with.
Your best friend is your spouse.
Yeah.
They really should be. You should not
Those
have.
are the best ones.
Yeah, you should have a best friend on top of that, sure. But your spouse should be your best friend. That's the most fun. Trent and I have a literal podcast together because we're so stupid in love and we just want to keep talking to each other.
Yeah, we have great conversations. We have a good rapport with each other. I mean, shit. I cannot tell you how many times we have just had a conversation and I say, damn it, why didn't we record that? Seriously.
That could have been useful.
That is how this podcast and all of our shows have come about. It's because of the conversations that we have. And that's kind of every podcast, to be honest. So we're not that unique, but I hope anyway that it comes through in the recording. And, even speaking of that, I was just talking about the fact that, oh yeah, these ladies were fawning all over me. Not really, but a lot of people, if they're married like we are, one of the people in the relationship might have a huge problem with you even talking like that.
Like saying that I have male friends?
Or even saying, well, you clearly can't be friends with somebody because you kept it in your mind that you could be with them at some point, and the only thing that is holding you back is the fact that you're in a relationship or they're in a relationship. No, it is a matter of maturity. You have control over your body. You have control over your actions. You can just not go out with them and sleep with them.
Also, a lot of the time it's just an idea. It's the idea of somebody, but the reality of somebody's very different.
True.
They kind of demonstrate that. I'm going to keep trying to bring it back to the movie, but I get why we're going off topic on this one. Carrie Fisher is the best thing in this movie as far as like supporting people. And she is a character where she has been dating this guy for 2 years who is married. He's having an affair with her. And she spends the whole first half of the movie saying he's never going to leave her. He's never going to leave his wife.
And other people are telling her that.
And they're being very honest. Yeah, exactly. You're being an idiot. You should probably stop seeing this married man because he's never going to leave his wife. But she is just completely obsessed with the idea of being with this guy and closing herself off to the possibility of a reality.
Here's a question. Is she obsessed with just this one guy? Because I never really got the name that she's talking about here. Is she only obsessed with this one guy, or does she have a thing for married men? That was my real big thing here, because I feel like when she pulls out the fucking Rolodex of men, I feel like all of them are all married men, and these are guys that she just pulls out every so often.
I think she strikes me as she is all about monogamy if she could find the right person, but currently the person she is with doesn't want to be monogamous with her, and she doesn't
Right.
know how to deal with it. And again, it's a maturity thing. Some people accept that this is the only way it's going to be for me. And even though she's smart enough and she knows, she acknowledges several times, I know this is bad, and I
Yeah.
know he's never going to leave his wife, and I don't know why I stay with him, but she doesn't have anything better lined up.
And some people, they just say, well, I found the person that I'm meant to be with. I'm meant to be with this person. He's a perfect person for me.
It just happens he's married to
It just
someone
so happens
else.
that he's already with somebody else in whatever capacity that is. You could be patient and just see if they break up if they're not married yet. But if they're married, you kind of need to stop that.
Yeah, you shouldn't be seeing that guy because he's a piece of shit. Frankly,
obviously.
he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
If he is cheating on his wife, and let's say in the far-fetched world you live in, he actually leaves his wife and he's with you think he's not going to cheat on you
What's
too?
to stop him from doing the exact same thing?
Yeah, he's a shit person and you don't want anything to do with
But
that.
you know, there's some ladies out there, they don't care. They just want to be with that person and that's it. I don't care if he goes off and cheats on me. He comes home to me most nights. Honestly, I fully believe that there are people out there like that.
Accept more love, people. You are worth it. I promise you, you don't have to settle for that garbage. That's garbage.
Yeah, if you don't want to be married to someone and one person only, don't get married. Have an open relationship. There's nothing wrong with that. You just have to have it be very clear with the other person. If you want to go off and mess around with other dudes, great. I'm going to go off and do the same thing with ladies.
The rules have to be the same for both of you.
Exactly. If you want to have that arrangement, more power to you. I'm sure you're going to have a whole lot of fun. But it is not conducive for, a mature and long-lasting kind of relationship.
Not usually. I'm never going to say it can't work. I just think it's rare. It's probably extremely rare for it to be like totally copacetic.
Yeah, and again, I'm not trying to poo-poo anybody's idea of polyamory or just anything under the sun like that. What I'm saying is there needs to be an understanding. And in the case of the Carrie Fisher character, it's a one-way street.
Yeah, but when Marie meets Jess, like she drops that guy so fast. She's just like, oh my God, I could actually be with someone who wants to be with me.
Right.
See ya. And she never talks about him again. It's over instantaneously.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah, because they're on the way to this date and she's still talking about seeing this guy. But this is Sally desperately trying to get her friend out of this stupid situation. Like, I love that scene in the movie, the double date flip-flop,
Yeah.
where they go in there expecting to set their friend up with their other friend. They don't expect it to be, I'm going to set my friend up with your friend who I've never met. That would be weird. Like, they don't know each other. She doesn't know Jess. Why would she set Marie up with Jess? But she knows Harry. But the way this scene is just so uncomfortable for everybody, like, oh, you're from New Jersey. Cool. And end of conversations. They have nothing to talk about. They have nothing in common. This is a shot in the dark, all of these people getting together.
And honestly, when it comes to any kind of relationship, whether it be friendly or romantic or whatever, it comes down to chemistry. And you have to be able to just bounce ideas off each other, have deep conversations or fucking stupid conversations. As long as they keep on going and it's interesting for both of you and you're not fucking bored. I have never been bored with Betsy. Are you kidding me? Have you met Betsy?
Probably not. Most of them have not in person.
Still.
But they should. I'm delightful.
You are. But that's my point. These two people, Harry and Sally, they go together in a way that not a lot of people can actually accomplish. There are plenty of married people out there, and I'm really sorry to say, there's plenty of married people out there that don't actually like each other, and that's really sad.
Meanwhile, Harry and Sally are so comfortable with each other because their expectations have been set so low, they can just exist with each other.
Right, when they're having the conversation at the batting cages, Harry is saying, I can tell her anything. I can tell her about how I'm feeling. I can tell her about a movie I saw. I can tell her about a chick that I fucked the other night. I can tell her anything that is on my mind. And dude, you're already halfway to being in a relationship as it is.
You have an emotional relationship. You just don't have a physical relationship.
Right.
But they're so silly with each other, and he has these really dark theories and weird theories, and they just riff with each other, and she laughs, and he says something stupid. They're already going in that direction. It's just a matter of, do you want more? And it sort of just happens. The thing that screws up the relationship in the movie is they sleep together and they make it weird. They have absolutely no idea what to do with this moving forward.
And it really comes down to just them not being honest and talking with each other.
Because I don't even think either of them really knows what they want right away, because it's very confusing. That is a very confusing moment to have.
There's a lot of moments here where, especially when they're having their party and they're playing Pictionary, when they both go off into separate rooms and they're talking with their respective friends, saying, you know, Harry, he's with this chick. How old is she? Does she even know this? Does she even know that? And vice versa. Harry saying to his friend, it's like, I can't have a conversation with this guy. He's too tall, which is a funny joke. I like that.
They're both jealous, but they don't want to admit they're jealous.
Yeah. And their friends know.
Yeah, they don't like when the other person is dating somebody.
Yeah,
like it gets to a point of, oh, this is serious. Like when you're starting to date someone seriously, I don't like it.
Right. Like
when
you
you're
can
just
go
dating,
off and
it's
have
fine.
fun. Yeah, you can go off and do the physical thing, but you still come home to me, as it were. But let's talk about some of these moments here where they're kind of coming together. One of my favorite moments here is after they sleep together, they both go off in their separate ways. They both call their friends who are just waking up themselves to these phone calls, and they have this four-way conversation. One of the greatest moments in cinema history, I think.
Split screen, you can see all four of them, and it's just a lot of quick talking over each other. And that's hard to do. The timing of that has to be really, really specific.
Totally. And they're both really saying the same thing at the same time. They're giving their responses to each respective question in their own way, but they're really saying the same thing. And of course, while this is happening, the friends are ecstatic. Like, I can't believe it finally happened. I'm so happy for you.
We've been wanting this forever.
Yeah.
Thank you. But then when both of them say, I think it was maybe a mistake, I don't know, it was good and then it wasn't, they're like, oh, you know, sometimes things don't work out. Like any good friend, they just quickly pivot to, if you're happy, I'm happy. If you're sad, I'm sad.
Right. Like the friends have the fantasy in their own mind of these two getting together because, hey, then we can both be couples at the same time. Wouldn't that be great?
Couple friends are great. We have one couple that is our friends that we go out for like dates and things with.
Yeah, and honestly, the wife of that couple is one of these gals that I was hanging around with when I was in high school. She's the one high school friend I still hang out with. She and I had a similar thing. It was one way where I liked her and she didn't like me, and then vice versa. As like the years go on and we're going to college, it keeps going back and forth in the first like 5 years of us knowing each other. And in the end, we figure out, you know what? We work out better as friends anyway. And here we are like 25 years later, still going out almost every other month.
And some people, as your wife, would be like, well, that's weird. Why are you still friends with this person?
You used to date that person. Why are you still hanging out with them?
Or you wanted to date that person, but you never did. Like, that's almost worse.
Are you still trying to date them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people,
I don't give a shit.
they do have that attitude. And in some cases, that attitude is merited just based on their own history. If they've cheated on you in the past, or if they've cheated on other people and they've admitted it to you, maybe it's better that you don't continue that relationship. That's fair. You can have a conversation about that, though. Don't automatically think that your partner is going to, cheat on you.
It's about trust. You have to trust your spouse. You have to trust your significant other. If you don't trust them, that's a problem.
Yeah, and again, going back to the movie, the real problems that these two people have is that they don't talk about themselves. They don't talk about their relationship. They don't talk about how they're feeling towards each other. And again, they are mature adults here. They should have those conversations, especially right after they fuck. Seriously.
And the trajectory is basically they stop spending time with each other, like cold turkey. They basically stop seeing each other.
Yep.
She doesn't pick up his phone calls. He kind of is dating somebody else. But when she is ignoring him and they have all this time to sit and think about it, that's when he's like, oh shit. No, I know what this is. I'm in love with you.
Right. And Harry has this thing about him, and he has this reputation where he kind of always has some lady at his beck and call.
very casually, mind you. But
Yeah, so he's constantly just hooking up with whoever that he wants to, I guess.
as I said, he's a guy. He's keeping things so at a distance and so
Right.
casual.
And he even says that, yeah, I leave in the middle of the night because I don't want to have anything with them.
He's kind of afraid of commitment.
Totally. And again, coming off of a bad breakup, bad divorce, and you're still kind of injured by it, I get it. But he's not honest with himself about it. He's not honest with kind of anybody about it. So it is that much more impactful when he does sleep with Sally that he's still kind of freaking out. You can see it in his eyes as he is just laying there and she is having the complete opposite reaction to it.
Serenity versus terror.
Right. And who knows if these are the genuine reactions? They must be, where maybe she's been wanting this forever and he never knew that he wanted it. I don't know, because he's telling himself, you're the only person that I've been attracted to that I haven't slept with. And he can't really reconcile it. He doesn't understand it.
And we do get a grand gesture in this movie because on New Year's Eve, he knows where she's going to be and he's running through the streets to profess his love.
Yeah.
And she's just like, you know what? Don't fuck with me right now. Don't say this shit because I'm really upset with you and I don't believe you and I don't think you mean it. But then when he actually expresses himself and says, no, here's all the reasons I love you. And for the love of God, please take me back because this needs to happen for me.
Yeah.
And it's a very satisfying ending to the movie.
I think so.
And we also get that little the interviews that are sprinkled throughout the movie of the different couples.
Yeah, that's an odd choice. I like it though, because you see in these people's eyes, it's the same kind of an attitude that we have. If you ever had the chance to meet us in 30 years, that's what we're going to look like, guys.
Probably, and talking over each other and
Yeah.
telling the story at the same
We've
time.
never talked over each other a time in our
Never
life.
done it. I don't know what you're talking about.
That was honestly my favorite one, where the wife is literally interrupting every single word he says.
And he just keeps talking.
Yeah, 'cause
that's completely us.
He's been living with her for 40 years, or however long she says.
I also like the old guy who says, I was there with some other woman whose name I don't even remember. Roberta.
Oh, yeah, Roberta.
But I ditched her and I said to you, what did I say? What are you doing after?
Yeah, that's us.
And then the punchline at the end of the movie where it's Harry and Sally and they say, you know, we got married and it only took 12 years. Well, 2 months, but 12 years.
Right.
But Trent, do you have any other moments from this movie you definitely want to talk about? Because this is such a
yes.
classic. There's 100 scenes in this movie that people love.
Yeah. Obviously, the big one that came out of the movie is the deli scene where she's faking the orgasm and everybody's looking at him. It's a really funny moment, and I dare you to show that to anybody of any age, and I dare you not to laugh at that scene. It's just great. Some of the other moments here that I completely forgot. I barely remember anything about this movie since the first time I saw it. When he goes over there to comfort her, and she's having a hissy fit, she's crying, she's throwing her Kleenexes all over the room, and eventually she gets to the point where she says, I'm gonna be 40. And he asks the question, well, when are you gonna be 40? Someday. Someday I will be 40.
In 8 years, yeah, but it's out there.
That's your next milestone anyway. I laughed really hard at that one. She also says early on, when I think it's the second time they meet on the plane, she says, I work at the news.
Yeah, at the news.
At the news.
She works at the news.
And, you know, him saying I'm a political consultant, I can understand that. But saying I work at the news? Which news division? Is it a newspaper? Is it a television station? Is it a radio station? I have no idea. At the news.
You could have just said like some call sign, like make one up. W
Sure.
something something something.
I work at ABC One. I work at the New York Times. I work at whatever.
Or say you're freelance. Like you could make something up. Give a specific, please.
Yeah. That still right now, it bothers me
I
when
work
she
at
said
the
that.
news and I drink beer brand beer.
That's a callback to another episode. And maybe my favorite moment that they set up is during their double date. At the end of the date, they're kind of talking to each other separately, and then they come back together. One of them says, you know what, I'm done walking, I'm gonna get a cab. So he hails a cab immediately. A cab stops, and then Carrie Fisher follows him saying, I'll come with you.
Yeah, you know, it's fine if you want to call him, but just don't do it tonight because you'll hurt Harry's feelings.
Oh yeah, I wasn't gonna talk to her tonight.
It's fine. Just you might hurt Sally's feelings.
Yeah.
I'll come with you. And that's it. Because that's how some people are. They're like, I'm madly in love with this person immediately.
I want
right
to
now.
hang out with you always.
Always.
And forever. That's us, guys.
That's us. You also kind of looked at me because you forgot the whole when they're in the museum and he says,
Yep.
I have decided that for the rest of the day, we are going to talk like this
Yep.
because that is the thing I do. And you didn't know that was the source of that.
In this exact accent. Whatever this accent is.
It's just a weird thing he does. But I will very
Wait
frequently,
there.
waiter, I would be proud to partake of your pecan pie.
Yes, I cannot tell you how many times you have said this in my presence, and I had no idea it came from this movie. And if you told me, I completely forgot.
Because I'm not actually a person. I'm just comprised of movie quotes.
That is true. Some other moments here when they're at the Giants game and they're just kind of talking, him and his friend are talking in betwixt all of the people doing the wave around them. That was a really funny scene.
Where he's like, my wife just left me. Wee!
Right. When he gets into the car at the beginning of the movie, he's eating grapes. Well, he's eating seeded grapes. He's got seeds in them. Remember when you could get grapes that had seeds in them still?
It was much more common. I think you still can, but they're hard to find.
The grocery stores around here don't carry
Not
seeded
around
grapes.
Here, no, but in New York you could probably find them.
I suppose.
There's
Where they actually
a number of grocery
grow them.
stores more than we have.
True. But yeah, he spits out of the car window and, before he even rolls down the window.
First he spits on the window.
Yeah. I do like when they're on their car ride, they stop for dinner and they go in there and they talk about, well, you've just never had great sex. I did have great sex. It was with Sheldon, whoever. And he says, there's no way that you had great sex with Sheldon, any Sheldon, because you can't just say, oh, Sheldon, more of that Sheldon.
Give it to me, Big
not,
Sheldon.
It's not a name that you can cry out in passion. We've talked about this, but not in the way of sex. We've talked about this in the way of musical lyrics, okay? The name Trent doesn't fit in any kind of musical lyrical form. Number one, it is a solo syllable word. Monosyllabic word. It doesn't fit into any kind of musical thing. Like I said, Betsy works. It's got 2 syllables. It works better.
Somebody at work told me there's a song out right now that's called Heavens to Betsy or something. And I was like, well, I'm going to have to look this up because I think in my entire life, I've heard one song with my name on it.
And I haven't heard one about a Trent.
No, Trent will never get his own song unless I write it.
It doesn't work. And really, there's only one other thing I wanted to mention here. And it's not really about the movie, but just I am lamenting the fact that we have moved on from phone calls. There's so many phone calls in this movie. There's even one where the two of them are split screen and they're watching Casablanca together at the same time. People still kind of do this every so often. When one person is off, maybe on a business trip, they'll both turn on a Netflix show and stream it at the exact same time.
It's not the same, though, because
it's not the same.
She happens to be watching it airing on TV, and he turns that channel on. It's such a moment in time that is gone forever. Having the ability to just turn on network TV or even just cable TV.
Mainly cable, yeah.
And call somebody on a hardline phone and see what they're doing right now.
But just the idea that people don't talk on the phone anymore. When Sally is about to leave the New Year's Eve party at the end of the movie, she tells Carrie Fisher, I'll call you tomorrow. You don't hear people say things like that anymore in real life.
I'll text you maybe.
I'll call you tomorrow. I'll text you later. That's what you hear people say. But no, we've replaced calling your friends and having a conversation with your friends and keeping up with your friends. We've replaced phone calls with text messaging, group text, group chats, all that shit. I feel like we need to get back to talking on the phone.
Because it's become a bad thing. The only time someone calls me is if they have bad news.
Kinda. or they want money. That's really what it is for me anyway.
Yeah, not good reasons to get a phone call.
No.
Otherwise, it's a scam. It's a scam caller. I just assume anytime my phone rings, it's a scam.
Like I said, right now, the thing that is happening with me is that somehow my phone number, not my name, not anything about me, but just my phone number is associated with a parcel of land in Chattanooga, Tennessee. This has been happening to me for years, literally years. People will text and call me out of the blue asking, do you still have this parcel of land and are you willing to part ways with it? What's a number that I can give you to part ways with this land in Tennessee? I cannot tell you how many times this has happened to me where I just have to tell them, no, that's a mistake. I don't own this. Please tell your boss and whoever else is trying to call me that I don't have this fucking land.
Maybe we need to go to Chattanooga and solve this problem once and for all, Trent.
I mean, I could probably look up the actual listing and somehow get it changed. I just never have. I know it's it's a piece of land on Vulcan Lane in Chattanooga, Tennessee, because when they text me, they say the address of the place. They don't give me the number because there's no property there. I think it is literally an empty lot.
Trent, I'm telling you, you have enough information. We could figure this out, but that's a different conversation for another time.
If you want us to go to Chattanooga, Tennessee, please contribute more money to the Patreon.
And we can go on an adventure and tell you how it goes.
Yeah.
But Trent, we need to stop talking about when Harry met Sally. So I must ask you the final question, the only question that really matters. Is this real love?
Oh, hell yeah.
And you know why, Trent? Because it's built on friendship.
That's right.
And that is the strongest foundation for a marriage. That is what I say.
What Betsy said.
So congratulations, When Harry Met Sally, for getting Trent's stamp of approval. You are, in fact, real love. But there's so much more love to explore. And Trent, it should come as no surprise to you what we'll be covering next month, because this month we are covering a series on our main show called This Means War. So what better time than to revisit a movie that I know you've seen, but only once.
Okay.
We're going to be watching the rom-com This Means War.
Oh, shit. Okay. I knew this was going to happen eventually, but yeah, I'm excited for this shit.
If I had had any forethought, I would have done it this month. But since I didn't and we already had a commitment to this movie, it's going to happen in September. So come back in September for This Means War. In the meantime, thank you as always for being patrons. Thank you for listening. My name is Betsy.
And my name's Trent.
And we'll see you next month.
Bye-bye.